Hi there, my name is Ademi. Welcome back to the Daytad channel. If you're new to the Daytad channel, we discuss everyday technology in medicine and in health. Everyday technology, smartphones, laptops, things like that. So if you're interested in stuff like that, you can subscribe to get updated on topics. Today we're going to be discussing something related to health. We're going to be discussing earpieces. So we're going to talk about earpieces. We're going to look at the health implications they may have, especially on our hearing. So we're going to be also talking about a few things you need to know when using earpieces, things you need to watch out for, and I recommend probably one or two brands that are good, especially as regards quality of sound. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so what are earpieces? Earpieces basically are speakers that are in close proximity to the ear. So they are basically speakers. They're actually speakers that are placed close to the ear. That's what they are, basically. So we have three broad categories. We have what we call the over-the-ear earpieces. We have the on-ear earpieces and the in-ear earpieces. It's self-explanatory. Over the ear, simply meaning that the earpiece rests snugly over the ear, covers the whole outer ear basically. We also have the on-ear, which rests snugly on the outer ear, and the in-ear, which actually pokes into the ear in various at various degrees basically. So those are the three broad categories. So earpieces are pretty much a very integral part of our lives, in everything we do, everyday life, especially in this time or in these times. Earpieces are we don't even think about it before using them. I mean, it's so part of our lives. We are probably just recovering from a worldwide pandemic, COVID pandemic, and it had devastating effects, and probably still having devastating effects in some parts of the world. It has affected the way we live. We pretty much depend on online communication and all that. So earpieces are a very important part of that. Online meetings, conferences, social gatherings online. So earpieces are pretty much very important parts of doing those activities. And even before the pandemic, listening to music, watching movies, earpieces are so much a very integral part of our lives. And I don't need to stress how important they are. Some of us use earpieces for pretty much the whole day. Are there right ways to use them? Are there correct ways to use them? Are there things we should know about earpieces that we did not know before, as regards using them? And are there brands or are there types of earpieces that we should run away from? Things like that. Those are things we should actually, pay attention to. And I'll be discussing a few points, but very important points in this video. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so to understand the health implications that earpieces may have on the ear, it's important to understand the anatomy of the ear. So basically broadly speaking, we have three parts of the ear. We have the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. So the outer ear basically consists of the pinna, which we can see. We have the ear canal, then the eardrum leading into the middle ear. In the middle ear, we basically have the ossicles, which are the bones of hearing. They're called ossicles. So they also help in transmission of sound, which they pick up from the eardrum and then help to transmit that sound to the inner ear. In the inner ear, that's where we have the organ of hearing. In that sense, so we have what we call the semicircular canals, which contain the hair cells. So these hair cells actually are sensitive to sound. They respond to sound intensity, and we will understand the importance of these hair cells as we move on in the video. So just note that they are sensitive to sound. They pick up sound. So they pick up sound based on the intensity of the sound, and they transmit that sound to the brain through the vestibulocochlear nerve, which takes the sound to the brain for interpretation. Then we perceive the sound as, oh, okay, this is what I'm hearing. I'm listening to music, I'm hearing this sound. All right. So that's just a brief anatomy, just to get us started in the video. So what are the health implications that the earpieces may have on our hearing? So first on the list is what I call hearing loss. So if we expose ourselves to loud sound for long periods of time consistently, there is a high probability that we of course we are going to be exposing the ear cells to a lot of sound, and that may cause what is called noise-induced hearing loss. So the hair cells may actually lose their sensitivity. They may become more plastic in that sense and lose their sensitivity, and then gradually one may actually have what we call noise-induced hearing loss. Now in the ear canal we have what we call earwax, which actually carries which helps in actually preventing dirt and dust from entering from the outer part of the ear into the inner parts of the ear. So this earwax actually carries from time to time, actually sweeps this dirt and dust from the inner parts of the ear to the outside. It does that from time to time, and that's the ear's mechanism of self-cleaning. Now when we use earpieces such as in-ear earpieces, for example this one, most of them actually have something like this, like a soft touch material, which actually helps to seal the ears when listening to music. There's a tendency to keep pushing earwax, which is supposed to actually bring dirt and dust outside. There's high tendency of pushing them back inside. So earwax supposed to push earwax outside, but then you pick up your earpiece and then you plug your ears all day long, and the next day you do the same thing. You find out that the earwax is actually building up, and then you can have what's called earwax impaction, which can cause conductive hearing loss. So tinnitus basically is a ringing sensation in the ear, which occurs without any stimulus. So it's like you're just hearing a ringing sensation in your ear, and there's really nothing sounding basically, but then that ringing sensation remains there. So tinnitus can occur usually when you also expose yourself to loud sounds for extended periods of time continuously. Another health implication of using earpieces is ear pain. So now talked about the on-ear headphones and the in-ear earpieces. So these earpieces actually rest on the pinna. Some of them can actually cause ear pain. Some of them are not well made. Some of them can constitute some form of stress to the cartilage of the pinna, and then cause ear pain. Ear pain can also occur in the inner parts of the ear, especially when you expose yourself to very loud sounds. So that's another thing, another health implication. Another thing is infections. Many of us have the habit of just picking up our earphones or earpieces and not even cleaning them. Just pick them up and then just plug them in our ears. We have that habit. Sometimes we come back from work, come back from school, wherever. We drop them on the table without even thinking. Next day we pick them up and plug them back. Some of us share headphones and earpieces. There's also what we call hyperacusis, which is an increased sensation of hearing. So everyone is hearing normal sound, normal volume, have no problems, but you have an heightened sense of sound. Basically, it occurs in more than 50% of people that have tinnitus, and it can be very disturbing. So if you notice these health implications I've talked about, most of them are related to exposure to loud sounds for extended periods of time consistently. So there are 3 keywords there: exposure to loud sounds for extended periods of time consistently. Once you're aware of this, the likelihood of having these cons of using earpieces is lower. If you're listening to music, it is advisable you keep the volume of what you're listening to at a volume where you can just hear what you need to hear. Basically, you don't need to blare music at the top volumes. When you get into 60-70% of the volume, I think that's fine. And when you're using earpieces, you can use them in divided periods. Use for 1 hour at low volumes, please. And if you're not going to be using your earpiece, you don't need to leave it there. As much as possible, if you can use an external speaker, use an external speaker. So when you're listening at around 70% volume, that's around 85 decibels, basically, if you want to measure the sound pressure level. So it's around 85 decibels. At 100 decibels, it shouldn't be more than 15 minutes. There are actually some phones that help you, that give alerts when you're listening above recommended levels. So some phones, by the time you're listening to music on your headphone and then you start to crank up the volume, you get to a point where it shows you that you're going above the recommended levels. You can use that to keep yourself in check too. Avoid poking too much. You don't need to, if possible, you can use over the ear headphones if you can get that, or on ear headphones. Those ones will prevent you from always picking up your earpiece and then poking it all the time from time to time. So if you're using over the ear headphones, they just over the ear, they have very little physical communication with your ears. Have good hygiene for your earpieces. You can clean the ear muffs of your earpieces. If you're using over the ear headphones, you can remove the ear muffs, clean them. If you're using in-ear headphones, you can remove these soft touch materials. This one here, you can remove it, and then clean it from time to time. Many times I've seen people using this kind of earpieces and then you see so much air wax on it and then they still keep on using it. So you want to keep good hygiene for your earpieces. It is said that if you use an in-ear earpiece, that it significantly increases the volume by about 9 decibels. So if you use over the ear headphones, that reduces the intensity of sound, basically. So what's a good earphone? What makes an earphone good? So there are certain qualities you should look out for when choosing an earphone that makes an earphone a good one. First is the sound quality, of course. Sound quality is very, very important. But when talking about sound quality, it's not just about getting an earphone that has very good bass. You see, sound is not just all about bass. It should have a good balance of all the frequencies, whether you have the bass, the middle frequencies, or the high frequencies. So the high frequencies should not be harsh, they should not be distorted. The middle frequencies should be clear, because most of the our conversations are mostly in the middle to low frequencies. So the middle frequencies should be clear, very clear, not distorted, and the low frequencies should not be disturbing. They should not vibrate and then you feel irritations in your ear. It's not about how well the bass can blow your ears. You're not about to blow your ears. You just want to listen to music. You just want to listen to sound. You just want to listen to good stuff. So, as important as the quality of sound is the design of the earpiece. The design of the earpiece is so important. Very important. So it should be lightweight. I talked about ear pain as one of the health implications, of using earpieces. So you can have ear pain. If there are some earpieces that are designed in such weird forms, especially, and I've seen this especially in earpieces, and by the time you listen to sound or music for them for some time, you start feeling pain in your pinna. So they must be lightweight. They must be well designed to snugly communicate physically with the outer ear. So whether on ear, over the ear, or in ear, they must be comfortable, lightweight. They shouldn't cause pain. And if they are in-ear earpieces, especially the ones that really poke into the ear, they should be designed in a way that follows the anatomy of the ear. So now the ear is designed in such a way, is not the canal that leads from the outer ear into the inner ear is not just a straight one. It's not a straight line. So basically it bends forward. So as you go in from outside and enter into the ear, it bends kind of forward a little bit. It's not just straight into the ear, basically. So it bends a little bit forward. So your earpiece should also be designed that way. Your earpiece should follow the anatomy. If you look at this in-ear earpiece, you can see that there's an angle, here. There's an angle here, basically. So that angulation actually provides that necessary angle for the earphone to fit into the shape of the ear, basically. So that way the earpiece is not pushing into the side walls of the ear, is not scraping earwax around the surroundings, is not scraping it and pushing it inwards. So if it follows the anatomy of the ear properly, there should be less cases of earwax impaction from that kind of earpiece because of the design. So if it follows the anatomy, the likelihood of having earwax being pushed is reduced. But then if it does not, what it does is that the earpiece basically scrapes, because it's not, you have a canal, and then something is supposed to go straight into that canal like this, and then it goes and hits the wall. If there's anything on that wall and then you keep pushing, it's going to scrape whatever is in that wall and then push it forward. So you're forcing it in and it's scraping earwax and pushing it into the ear. So you don't want that to happen. So you want to get an earpiece that aligns with that. So when getting your earpiece, you should watch out for that. It's not, you can always see that online. Read about the earpiece you want to get online if you're ordering it online. If it's at a store where you can open the earpiece and then look at it, you can check for that too. So another thing that you want to ensure, and this would have to do with, especially with the in-ear earpieces, are the earbuds that come with them. The earbuds that come with these earpieces should be soft touch material, and they are soft touch material, and kind of soft touch material should be comfortable for your ears. They shouldn't irritate your ears or cause ear pain or anything. And they should also come in various sizes. So some of us, we don't have the same size of ear canal in that sense. So earpieces that have earbuds that have this soft touch material should actually have different sizes that come with them. So these different sizes will help to adapt to whatever size of ears you have, basically. So if the entrance into your ear canal is small, so you choose the smaller one. If it's big, you choose the bigger one. So usually they come in various sizes. So if you're using an earbud, a good earbud should come with an extra bud, not just the one that is fixed on the earpiece from the factory. So you should watch out for that. One way you can know if an earpiece has good quality is that you would hear most of the important aspects of the sound at low volumes. So if you have to crank up the volume to be able to hear what is being communicated in whatever sound you're listening to, then you should be wary of that kind of earpiece. So the earpiece at low volumes, you should be able to hear significantly the important parts of the audio. What are the brands that you should look out for when getting earpieces? Okay, so this is not a promotion video. I'm not promoting any brand, but I've used a couple of earpieces, and from my experience, I can recommend a few ones, especially around where I stay. Worldwide, there are some brands that are known to produce good quality. Among them, you have Apple, we have Samsung, we have Sony. So these earpieces, are actually trusted earpieces. They produce good sound when it comes to quality. Some of them, despite the fact that they're good earpieces, they may not be comfortable for use. I've had people who are not comfortable with using AirPods. I've had people who are not comfortable using earbuds. So depending on what your preference is like, so you may want to choose whether you want to use an earpod, you want to use an over-the-ear headphone or on-ear headphone. So for over-the-ear headphones, common good brands are in the likes of Sony. I've used Sony for quite some time, and the kind of sounds they produce are, very good sound, and they're very comfortable. The kind of ear muffs that come with them too are usually something you can trust. By the way, this is my studio ear headphone. It's American Audio. It's an old brand, but it was kind of cheap when I got it. So, but it's comfortable. So that's a good one too. Yeah. So for people who produce, we have an array of headphones you can use, but the emphasis is on the fact that it should be comfortable for you to use, and it should give you best quality. It should be made of quality materials, basically. And if you're in Nigeria, where I stay, you probably want to buy something. You want to have something in which you can get best value for money. So you can be looking at brands like Oraimo, Samsung. So for Oraimo, a lot of us use Bluetooth headphones. So I use a Bluetooth headphone from Oraimo, this brand, like as you can see. So it's a Bluetooth headphone which I've been using this for about I think 6 months now, and I've enjoyed the use. So it's an in-ear headphone, and it's very, very comfortable to use. I've not had issues with it, and it's fine. There's also another, and it's not really that expensive. I think now if you want to buy it on Jumia, you can get it for about 10,000 naira or 15,000 naira. There's also the Level U Pro from Samsung. There are a lot of fake ones out there, but there's a Level U and Level U Pro. This one can rest on your neck, and then same thing for the Oraimo too. So it's very comfortable, very easy to use, lightweight too. Level U, and has all those qualities I talked about. So fun fact: what is the function of these holes? See this hole? Now let me remove that. See this hole that you have right here? That hole is also the same hole that you have. Look at this hole that you have here. Some of them have the holes down here. So what's the function of that hole? Sound is vibration, basically, and in the presence of air, sound is able to be transmitted. Sound is transmitted through a medium, and it's air for us. Those holes actually help to keep sound quality in shape. So because of the fact that we can have vibrations, especially vibrations in the low frequencies, we can have such strong vibrations, especially from low frequencies, there is a need to have sufficient amount of air to resonate around that vibration. So when we have sufficient amount of air resonating around that vibration, it actually keeps or preserves the quality without distorting it. It's as simple as that, basically. So it actually helps with quality. If you don't have those holes there, the quality of sound you'll be getting, especially from low frequencies, will be crappy. And if you look at sound systems, studio speakers and things like that, you see that they have this hole, these holes, and you just wonder what these holes are for. It's pretty much the same thing. So if you have a speaker that doesn't have that kind of hole, the probability that you're able to produce such rich bass tones is going to be lower. Yes, it's going to be lower, except it has sufficient amount of space in the cavity where the speaker cones are. I think I'm going too far. I've talked about earpieces, headphones, and the health implications they have. What you should watch out for while using earphones. So if you did not get anything in this video, which I'm sure that is highly unlikely, because that's just highly unlikely. But if you didn't take away much from this video, at least take away the fact that when using earpieces, you should use them for you shouldn't use them for prolonged periods of time. You shouldn't use them for prolonged periods of time at loud volumes consistently. Do not use them for prolonged periods of time at loud volumes consistently. Those three things, if you keep to them, you will likely have less issues from using earpieces. You will likely have issues from using earpieces. So we've talked about earpieces, the types of earpieces we have, health implications, things to watch out for when using earpieces. We also talked about few brands to look out for, and I think that's basically it. So if you enjoyed this video, you can comment in the comments section below. If you have any questions, you can ask also. My name is Ademi, and thank you for watching this video. Catch you in the next video. Stay safe.